So I don't usually post on Saturdays, but I wanted to post this video because it's really important for home buyers. So if your search engine of choice is Zillow, you may want to consider using a different search engine. I know, if you guys have watched my channel for a long time, you know I was a Zillow girl. Like, all my videos are like, go to Zillow, do this, look at that, because I thought their data was amazing. Yeah, 2025 is the year of consolidation and brutal fights in the real estate industry. So let me tell you what's going on and why Zillow is not going to be showing you all the listings available in your area. Okay, overview. NAR, National Association of Realtors, has a clear cooperation policy. The policy is to try to make it so that everybody has access to see listings when they get listed. And Compass is one of the biggest real estate brokerages in the United States. Like, in luxury markets, they dominate, okay? Like, Compass is no joke. They've bought a ton of other brokerages over the last few years. They are a monster, and they are a very wealthy monster. Important, okay? Compass has dollar bills backing them like nobody else. Well, Zillow has the same dollar bills backing them. Compass is actually profitable though, I think. Anyways, so huge real estate brokerage, and what they like to do is they like to, if they have a listing, they like to keep it exclusive to their network and pre-market it before it goes on MLS. MLS is where listings go. They don't have to, but it's generally where an agent puts a listing. Once that listing's in MLS, it goes to Zillow, Realtor, Redfin, all the other sites pick it up, okay? So Compass likes to keep it in their network first. Look, in competitive markets where Compass is dominating, is it beneficial to have a buyer's agent that's a Compass agent? Yeah, it is. You know, and I like, look, guys, I work with all agents. Like, some of my favorite agents are Keller Williams. You know, in the areas those gals are, Compass doesn't dominate. If it did, I'd be trying to tell them to go over there. Because look, as a buyer, if I'm in a competitive market, having access to stuff before everybody else sees it is a benefit. It's a benefit, right? Now, you may go, well, wait, why would sellers want to do this? 2 reasons, 3 reasons. So look, some sellers are private. Personally, if I listed one of my properties, would I want it on every single website? No, I would try to sell it before that, because I don't want a bunch of random people coming through my house. I don't want, you know, pictures of my bedroom and everything else publicly. Like, look, I'm a little scaredy cat. And also, you know, depending on the type of property and how many agents are in the market, if there's already a brokerage dominating it, they're likely going to have the buyer anyways. So being able to keep it out of the public eye and also have people who can jump on it fast, that benefits me, right? The other way they sell it to sellers is they say, look, we all know that if a house is on a website like Zillow or whatever, and you're seeing price drops, or you're seeing that it's been sitting on the market, buyers start negotiating against the property. We do. Guys, if you call me, I'm going to negotiate against the property with you. We're like, it's been on the market for 30 days. Go for blood, right? Or look at these price drops, or there's no price drops. By keeping it in the Compass ecosphere for a portion of time, you know, it's not doing that. They're getting to have people look at it and put it on the market without having that clock against it. And they're also getting pricing feedback. So if, for instance, let's say I'm selling my house and I'm working with Compass, and, you know, 3 weeks go by, none of the agents, and I'm in a Compass dominated market, that's important, none of the agents have a buyer, I'm probably priced wrong, right? So then before I put it on the main market, I can adjust that price. So it is a good way to price test as well. Now, once again, I really only think this works in Compass dominated markets. Like, cannot stress that enough. So Zillow is like, this is bullshit. Like, you need to put this stuff on the MLS. This is nonsense. You can't just, you know, remove a big portion of the market and sell it without anybody else seeing it. Because that's what happens, guys. You know, look, if you've got a house priced right, you've got a buyer, it's all being connected before you guys even see it on open MLS. It's already gone. It's already gone, right? So Zillow comes out with this big ultimatum. I'm telling you right now, ultimatums are not good. Like, ladies and gentlemen, if you have to say to your girlfriend or boyfriend, hey, if you don't marry me, I'm leaving. You should have already packed your bags, okay? Not gonna work. Someone should have told Zillow. So Zillow goes, if you don't list these houses within a day of getting the listing, pre-market, like none of this pre-market nonsense. Don't have it on Facebook. Don't have it on anything. You can have it on your market for one day, but then it needs to go on MLS. We will ban the listing from our site forever. Oh, shoot, right? Everybody knows that everybody likes Zillow, and you would assume that agents would go, oh no, Zillow, we don't want to do that. We're sorry, sir, ma'am. We'll immediately do what you want, Zillow. Yeah, they flipped him the bird. I'm flipping the bird. That's what they did. Compass is like, okay, bye, see ya. Which is very interesting. And you may be like, wait, what? Yeah, Compass is like, cool, ban us for life. Do it, we dare you. And the reason's simple. Why do you go to Zillow? You go to Zillow to look at houses. If all the houses aren't there, would you go there? I mean, I wouldn't go by choice to a website that doesn't have all the listings. Like, why would I do that? As a buyer, I'm missing out on a big portion of the market, especially in the markets where monster money dominates. So I'm not gonna go to Zillow, no. And I mean, here's the thing. I'm torn on it, right? I'm torn on it because I'm like, I do think it's beneficial to buyers to have access to everything. But then I'm also like, in markets that are really tight, I'm always telling my buyers, find an agent that can get stuff off the market. This is an off the market network. So in tight markets, this is really beneficial for buyers, So a little bit torn on that, but the overview for you guys is like, would I be searching on Zillow? No, I moved away. I moved away for two reasons. Number one, they're not gonna have all the listings because Compass laughed. And number two, I didn't like the bullying. I thought it was just ridiculous. It was like, you're trying to throw your weight around, but you don't even realize how many people in the industry hate you. Their thought is, well, sellers want to be on Zillow. Sellers are going to get upset. They're not going to list with Compass then. I don't think so. And the reason I say that is simple. The Zestimate. It's the Zestimate, guys. Look, right now I have a property where the Zestimate is so low on it, and it is so wrong because the Zestimate's not taking into account that the entire house was gutted and remodeled 3 years ago. The Zestimate's not taking into account that for that market, the level of square footage is much greater. The Zestimate is wrong by leaps and bounds. There's many sellers where maybe they list the house at 400, the Zestimate says 385. You guys and I all know we're going to be like, oh, it's probably only worth 385 then, because without realizing how much Zillow, the Zestimate, doesn't take into account, people just assume that number's right. It harms sellers in that way. It does. It's simple. It does. It also deceives buyers in some, because if you have a house where it's listed at 400, but the Zestimate's at 450, you think you're getting a deal. Is that a real number? No. Is it a fairly decent ballpark? Most of the time. Is it within $10,000? No, it's not, guys. And there's some markets, especially luxury, where it is painfully wrong. So there's a lot of sellers that would be like, wait, you're telling me that Zillow's not going to pick it up? Let me sign the dotted line. Great. So you're like, okay, well, Jen, so what do I do? Homes.com, guys, homes.com. Check it out. I did a video earlier this week. I did a short. I don't usually do shorts, but I was on the phone with a client. I was playing with it, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. And here's what I have found about homes.com. Now, first of all, the reason I'm going to them is because in this big fight between Compass and Zillow, homes.com said, look, thank you for putting listings on MLS. When you do, we're happy to put them on our website. We're not getting involved in this. Good call, because the bottom line is, like, Zillow and Compass, they both have so much money and so much backing. It's just going to be a war of giants. So it's like homes.com was really smart to stay out of the fray. You do have another website that got in the fray, which is Redfin. And you're like, well, Redfin's against it. Guys, Redfin just got bought by Rocket Mortgage. Like, Everybody wants you on their website because they want you to pick a real estate agent through them. They want to sell you a mortgage. They're going to sell you home insurance. I don't know. They might sell you a dog. They want to control the transaction and make money off of it every single step of the way. Okay? Homes.com, if you go to their website, they don't have any mortgage ads right now, which I think is really interesting. They do have real estate agent ads. However, they actually, if you're looking at a house and it's the listing, it has the listing agent's information. Whereas like Zillow, you look at a house, you look at the listing, but the agent that they're telling you to click on, it's not the listing agent. So you click on an agent wanting to ask questions about the property, it's not even the agent. Homes.com has the real agent. So I think that's good. But what I love is I love the filters. The filters are so detailed. Like you can really get into stuff like, I want to live on a cul-de-sac. You know, I want to look at houses between 1910 and 1940 that are Spanish Mediterranean. You know, you can go in the weeds, and I'm kind of glad the fight's happening because otherwise I wouldn't have gone to homes.com. But after going on it, I'm like, where were you all my life? We're doing such better searches with clients. Also, it has some features. Sorry guys, I'm looking for water. It has some features that are really cool. So for instance, I was looking at a flip with a client 2 days ago. That's what the short's about if you guys want to check it out. And with a flip, you're always like, well, what was the property like before they dressed it up? And what was really cool is with homes.com, I scrolled down to the sale history because it has that. And I clicked on a button. It had the pictures of before. Amazing, amazing. It had the listing of when the flipper bought it. So that was really cool. No other website has that. You know, it also shows the mortgages, which I think is so interesting. So for instance, let's say you're buying a house and the person who's selling it bought it 2 years ago. It shows you the recorded mortgage in most states. So if you're looking at a house for 410, person bought it for, you know, whatever, but the mortgage is 400, tells you don't have a lot of wiggle room without it being a short sale for them. You know, is it perfect? No, but is that good information to have? Yes. One of the markets that I've been looking at in Florida, there's no mortgages on like half the properties. And I'm like, oh, this explains so much. You know, it was one of those markets where I think investors got in 21 and 22. They're just sitting there waiting for someone to pay a ridiculous price. They have no incentive to drop the price. Homes.com is the only one that I've seen that has this. So that is who I'm going to be using. It's who I'd recommend. You know, we'll see what happens with this fight. But the bottom line is that if Zillow doesn't back down, they're not going to be showing you guys everything that's on MLS. And if you can't see everything that's on MLS, why are you on that search engine? Why? Why? So, questions, comments, as always, feel free to reach out. I'm going to put in the comments, there was a real estate agent that did a really good video on this. You know, her whole thing is about selling houses, and she did a good breakdown of this. I do think the one thing that no one's talking about is I think there's a very good chance that other real estate brokerages will copy Compass. I'm going to tell you why. There's a lot of ill will towards Zillow in the industry. And the reason is because of stuff like premier agents, right? You as a home buyer, you go on the site, you're like, oh, it's a premier agent. This means they're the best. No, it means they're giving Zillow a big chunk of their commission. You can easily go online, look up flex pricing premier agent Zillow. It will show you what percentage of that agent's commission Zillow is taking. And they're making that money by you clicking a button. Listing agents don't love Zillow because the Zestimates can be wrong, but also because it's showing another agent's information. Once again, if someone clicks on that agent, the Zillow's getting paid, right? It's not the listing agent. So it will be interesting to see if brokerages copy Compass, because up until now, anything that goes on MLS, Zillow was taking. But the fact that they drew this line in the sand, it makes it so any brokerage, if they're going to do any level of pre-marketing, Zillow's saying they won't have it on their website. That could end up being catastrophic. So we'll see if this gets walked back. My guess is there's going to be some sort of lawsuit. I know Compass already filed one, but I think we could see some federal involvement because these are two mega monsters and I don't see either one backing down. But for you, my sweet, lovely home buyers who I care about, homes.com. Seriously, homes.com. Just stay away from all this. Just go there. It's safe there right now. And if there's any changes, I will let you guys know.